Hi, this is Phil Fry, Director of Business and Finance for the Sun Prairie School District, talking about budget stewardship. So just want to start with what is a budget? And for our district budget, we really build our budget with the reflection of the goals of what our organization or our school district is trying to achieve while staying in compliance with the state and state revenue caps. So we also are talking about today our bidding policy, some strategic budget practices that we've have done in the past. Want to refresh people's memories on the most recent budget reductions that we did in 2017-18. And then we're going to talk about some budget savings that are ongoing by departments. And just, I'll say it a couple times, but typically I think the school board sees bids that we take to the board and we're purchasing large items over $250,000. But we haven't done a good job of taking items to the school board of saying this is where we've saved money, reallocated money, and things like that. So part of this report is just, again, giving the board some information about some of the really good work that we've done with our budget. So again, when we build our budget in Sun Prairie School District, we're really looking at what do we need to do to meet the board's expectations. That could be on SRs, SR2, for example. That could be on OEs, operational expectations, in our policy and procedures that the school board has set out in strategic plan for the school district. So that is when we build the budget, that's the driving force behind our budget work. So we've shared this information many times with the school board, but just to keep re-emphasizing it, state funding has not kept up with what school districts need to build our budget and basically keep up with inflation. So inflation has been very, especially the last few years, been high. And what the state has given us on a per pupil basis has not kept up with that. In fact, over the last about 12, 13 years, if we would have received what inflationary increases with our per pupil increase versus what we did receive, that gap is $3,235. So again, inflation has far exceeded what the state has given school districts on a per pupil basis. And for reference, next year's budget will be based on $325 increase, which the state has approved for school districts, and that's a 2.5% increase. And we know inflation is much higher than 2.5%. So the purpose of this presentation, and I mentioned this before, is really to recognize that we do, again, we talk to the school board when we're purchasing large items over $250,000, but we really don't talk about things and just talk about things that are really tightening our belts that we do basically every day or every budget cycle. So we want to talk about those today. I do want to spend a little bit of time on, I think the board and the public maybe knows this, but we do have a bidding policy, which is DJ and DJR, which are linked here. In that policy, just to be good stewards of money, requires that anything over $5,000 requires quotes. Anything over $50,000 requires a formal bid. And as the school board knows, anything over $250,000 requires school board action. And then another thing that hopefully you know, but if you don't, any purchase that the district makes needs to conform to those our bidding policies and has to have a budget account and budget dollars behind it before it will be sent out. So as I mentioned before, we really build our Sun Prairie Area School District budget on strategic budget practices. All principals and cabinet members really carefully budget for the next year, for the next fiscal year using strategic budgeting. Senior leaders budget team reviews all requests as part of the budget process. And the last thing I want to point out is I hopefully have instilled a process or philosophy in the district that if a department or a school doesn't use all their budget allocations in one fiscal year, they're not going to lose funding for the next fiscal year. So in other words, people don't feel like they have to lose it, or if they don't spend it, they're going to lose it and maybe buy things that they really don't need. That money rolls over into our fund balance. But again, their budget isn't reduced the following year if they don't spend it the prior year. Also want to give a little history lesson because definitely a lot of new school board members and public. We did go through a fairly major budget reduction in 2017-18 fiscal year. That year, because of state funding, we had to reduce about $2.3 million of our budget. Most of those reductions came in reduced areas from reduced staff benefits, especially with the alternative benefits program that we have for some staff members. We increased some student fees. We reduced instructional aides, 14 FTEs, so 14 people. We also reduced secretarial and support positions throughout the district, and that was about 15 FTE. And we had a director of technology position, administrative, and that was eliminated. So there are some pretty major cuts for Sun Prairie School District back in 2017-18 fiscal year. So the next section is headlines. So as I said, and you'll see it on the following slides, I won't be going through those, but the district has done a lot of things to conserve budget dollars. In fact, if you added them all up, it's over $5 million on a yearly basis that money has been conserved on a yearly basis. So things like tiering bus routes, that's something that the school board and public we went to last year, but that really saved on the number of bus routes that we need to do and bus drivers, and that saved about $400,000 a year. We also really actively manage our utility savings, and we've given the school board reports on that. But that active management saves over $1.5 million a year compared to an average school district and what we would have spent. Pupil Services applies for and receives many grants, over $300,000. So that's, again, money coming into the district that we're actively going for. And there's other grants that we receive, but that's another headline. The wellness clinic return on investment is over $400,000 a year. So we do spend money on the wellness clinic, but the money that saves in reduced health insurance costs is over $400,000 a year. We've trained many staff members, internal staff members, so that we don't have to hire outside consultants for professional development, and that saves over $100,000 a year. So on the slides, which I'm not going to go through this in this presentation, hopefully people go through those on your own. There's slides from every department of things that you'll see areas. And this is just the headlines. There's probably, I'm gonna off the top of my head, 30 to 40, maybe more than that, items on the list that you can see of things that different departments and how they're saving money or shifting money to a different area. So in summary, just want to capture this like one last time. We definitely have a bidding policy, and that fosters fiscal responsibility. We went through a significant budget reduction in 2017-18 fiscal year in the amount of $2.4 million, and that was also due to the lack of state funding. District administration takes budget stewardship very seriously, ensuring that resources are maximized and each dollar is stretched as far as possible. And the district has an extensive list of budget reductions slash reallocations, over $5 million a year. And then the department by department examples follow. Again, for this presentation, I'm not going to do that because that would make this presentation pretty long. But I really encourage school board and the public to go through those slides to see the specific examples from the departments. Thank you, and have a good day.